Hey everyone, I'm going to do this relatively brief overview of the main assignments for this course. This is the meat, the core of the course, and you're basically going to take one topic and you're going to create 3 assignments out of it. So I want to go over just briefly how this is to be done. It's all explained in more detail in Canvas in your list of assignments and through the modules with some lessons to support them. But I want to give you an overview so you can start the wheels turning now on how you're going to approach this. So this is essentially a 3-part project. And the first part is you're going to create a proposal for a business or a nonprofit organization or some organization that you want to convince to do a certain thing. Now, this can be anything from publish your book to adding a wing to a hospital or anything in between. Whatever, choose a business or a nonprofit organization or an institution of some kind. It can be CEI. You want to propose something to the college that you have an interest in. Come up with a project that you would like to see happen, and then take it through the various stages. And the first stage is the proposal. So I'm going to go over the proposal, then the progress report, and then the final report with some overview of how to approach it. Again, there are more details available to assist you as you work on each of the projects. Just go to Canvas and watch those lessons and do the reading in the textbook, and make sure that you follow very carefully the instructions for each piece of this project. So stage 1 is you're going to prepare a written proposal, and this needs to be not just a bunch of words. You want to think about, and this is why I want you to make sure that you complete the assigned reading and understand the 5 core competencies of professional communication, and then employ some of those techniques, including how you use the size of your type, how you include certain visual elements, all of that. So you're going to start by reviewing what the requirements are and completing the assigned reading. That's the basic 5 competencies that we want to apply here in putting together all 3 of these pieces of this overall project. View my lessons. Look at the sample proposals that I've provided. These are from other students that have taken this class before, so I've chosen ones that are not necessarily perfect, but are representative of approaches that you can take. Complete your draft proposal, submit it. I'll give you some feedback on that, and then you'll complete the final proposal. That's stage 1 of the 3-part process for this connected project through the class, starting in about week 3. Next, you're going to prepare a progress report. And here's where you need to use some imagination, because you're not actually going to be running this proposal through an organization or institution or business. I mean, you certainly can, but many of you are not in a position to do that. And so you've got to use your imagination a bit on, okay, I've submitted the proposal, I got approval for the proposal, and some time has passed, and I need to update the people who approved my proposal on how things are going. And so you have to kind of start by imagining how things are going. You should include some obstacles, some successes, that kind of an update where, you just don't want to say, hey, everything's great, it's just as I said it would be, thank you very much. This needs to be an overview of how things are going. And believe me, proposals, once they are accepted, the project never goes perfectly, and so you need to think about what things could go wrong and how you address those. This is going to include using the basic 5 competencies that I've already talked about. It should be, give or take, about 1,500 words, and there are other guidelines on how to put it together. And again, As we go through this, I want you to continue to think about incorporating visual elements to help convey the information. So when people look at a page after page after page of just black and white text, and I know you've experienced this, most textbooks, unfortunately, a lot of textbooks are done this way, and that's not necessarily the best way to convey all of the information you have. I've provided, again, some samples for you, including the one that I actually prepared for a nonprofit organization I worked with some years ago. So think about, you don't have to be a graphics expert, you don't have to be a layout expert, but there are certain things you can bring to the update, the progress report, that will make it more inviting and better, more successfully convey the information you want your audience to understand. And then finally, you are going to prepare for your final project assignment, is you're going to prepare a report on essentially how things went, as if the project is essentially over. And how did it go? What went well? What didn't go well? Use your imagination again, just like you did for your progress report, and talk about how things went. In this case, however, instead of a written report, you're going to prepare an oral report that will, easy for me to say, that will use a slide deck, 7 to 10 slides, to help convey the information. Plus, you're going to write a narration. You're going to write the narration that attaches to each slide. If you want to then record the narration and submit that as a full video file, I'm happy for you to do that. I'll give you 5 points extra credit. It is not required, and you won't be docked any points for not doing that. The assignment is to submit the slide deck with a narration identifying what you would say for each slide. Make sure again that you review the 5 competencies, watch my recorded lessons on how to put this together, especially my lessons on death by PowerPoint and the follow-up to that lesson. Most people, I have seen, I don't know, hundreds of presentations using slides, and 95% of them are just terrible because they basically put all the information, all the words onto the slides and then essentially read them. Well, that's not, the slides are there to provide support, to enhance your message, not to just put it in a different medium. So be sure to watch the lesson on Death by PowerPoint, submit your draft, I'll give you some feedback, and then the last week of class you will submit the final versions after you've made your revisions. Those are the elements of the main project for this. You're going to start with the same idea and take it all the way through, so make sure you're picking something that you find interesting, compelling, that you can do the necessary research about, and that will be your friend for, give or take, 13 weeks of the course as you work your way through it. We'll talk in more detail about all of this stuff. This is simply an introduction and overview. But once you have read the materials, once you've read the instructions, once you've viewed the lessons, if you have any questions, you know how to find me.